Good evening, guys, and welcome to episode 5 of Film Production 101. Hi guys, okay, welcome to episode 5. In this episode, we're actually going to be working on wages. We're going to work out how much we're going to have to pay our cast and crew for the filming. Now, I'm going to do this in two ways. Firstly, I'm going to do it on a daily rate, and secondly, we're going to do it per hour. Now, the reason I want to do it as daily rate is if I do it per hour, if we have extra shots that we need to do, then we're going to have to pay for overtime. Whereas if we're paying a daily rate, everything's paid all at once. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get rid of that sheet. This is one of the old sheets. Okay, we're going to create a new sheet that we can work on. And in that sheet, I'm just going to copy and paste all of our cast to start off with. Okay, so I'm just going to copy them and paste them in, and then I'm going to change them so they're actually in normal order, so we can actually read them. 15 of them. So Joan, then we've got the young man, which will be part of the enthusiasts. And we've got Billy. So all I'm doing is I'm just making the list of all the cast. Malika, Cobley. So we can work out how many hours drivers in heavy traffic each one's going to be needed. Philip, Darren, 2 masked intruders, the 5-year-old boy, the 2 burnt parents, the nurse, and the local pedestrian. Alright, so I've just created that list, so we'll get rid of this now. So you can see exactly what we need here. The black tie waiters, there's 2 of. Drivers of heavy traffic, we can use the crowd of enthusiasts. Okay, so we've got the number of people. So now what we need to do is that I'm going to mark up the number of days required, and then I'm going to mark up the number of hours required. Okay, so if we start with the number of people, I'm going to shrink that down so we can see it easier. No, I can't. You can see it. I'm just going to move the camera out of the way. Video, I can't actually see it. Right, so I've got it a bit closer. Okay, so we start with the crowd of enthusiasts, which is this row, and we want the number of days that they're going to be on set. So I'm just going to scroll down it until I find an X in that column, which is here. So we've got 2 days on set. Okay. Right. So that's 2 days on set. Okay. And the number of hours on set, we can work that out as well. So when we find that list again, find them 2 days, there's 1. Shrink that down a little bit so I can see the end. Right. So we've got 1 here, which is from 1 o'clock till 5:40. So that's 4 hours 40 minutes. So say 5 hours. And then the second one is from 9:20 till 12. 10, 11, 12, 3. So another 4 hours. So that's 8 hours. So they're going to be needed for 8 hours. Alright. So that's our crowd of enthusiasts. Now Joan, I believe, is in every single day. So we'll highlight Joan. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 3, 24, 25, 26. She's in every single one. She's not in that one. So that's 1 day, 2 days she's not in, 3 days she's not in, 4 days she's not in out of 34. So she's in for 30 days. So we have Joan on shop for 30 days. Now, as it comes to hours, we've got her all day there. So it's 8 till 4. It's 8, 9, 10, 11, 9, 10, 11, 12 is 4 hours. And then 4 more hours, 4 hours 40. That's 8 hours, 40 minutes. On the second day, she's only on set for 11:20 till 12 is an hour. I'm rounding these up, by the way. And 1 to 5 is 4 hours, so she's only in for 5 hours on that day. This day she's in every scene, so she's in all day, 7 till 5. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 is 10 hours. Okay. This day she's in all day, which is 7 till 5 again, 7 till 8, that's 10 hours. This day she's in all day, 7 till 5 again, so that's another 10 hours. This day she's in all bar 2 scenes, so she's in for an hour on the morning, and then 2 hours in the afternoon. It's 3 hours on that day. No, 4 hours because it's 10:40. Right, so 4 hours on that day. On this day she's in all day, 8 till 2, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. So that's 7 hours. As I said, I am rounding these up to the nearest hour. This one she's in all day, 7 till 4. So that's 9 hours. This one she's in all day, 8 till 4, 8:30 till 4:30, 9, 10, 11, 12. Plus 4 is 7.5, so 8 hours on that day. Right, this day she's in all bar 1 scene, that's half an hour, so that's not worth worrying about. So she's in 9 till 5, that's 3, plus 5 is 8, so that's 9 hours. This day she's in all day, 7 till 4, 5 plus 4 is 9, so that's 10 hours. This day she's in all day, 9 till 2, 10, 11, 12, it's 5.5, that's 6 hours. This day she's in all day, 8 till 4, that's 8 hours exactly. 1, 2, so she's in all day by the last scene, so at 2 o'clock, so it's 9 till 2, that's 5 hours. This day she's not in them 2 there, so that's an hour. So she's in from 8 till 4 is 8 hours, minus an hour is 7 hours. She's in all day here, 7 till 5, that's 10 hours. This one as well, 6 till 4, that's also 10 hours. And this one she's not in that scene, she's not in that scene. So that's an hour off. So 9 till 3 is 6 hours, 5 hours in that day. This day she's in all day. 9 till 3:20, that's 6 hours. And I'm just going to go through all of the cast and do this. So I'll be back as soon as I'm done. Cheers. Okay guys, welcome back. Right. As I said, what I've done, I've actually gone through the entire script and I've marked up how many hours each person is needed, as you can see here, the number of days they're working and the number of hours. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put the hourly rate at £11.50 and the daily rate will be based on 8 hours. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a quick sum here, equals sum of 8 times £11.50. Okay, so that's £92 a day. Okay, so the daily rate is going to be £92, the hourly rate is going to be £11.50. Okay, let me format these cells so we can get some figures. Format cells, we want them in currency and pounds. Okay, right, so we sent them, and I'm just going to change the colour of these ones, at least to the top bit here. Right, so we've got our figures. This is what it's going to cost, day rate and thingy rate. So all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to work out how much each one's going to be. So it's as simple as getting a sum. I'm going to take the day rate, days, and multiply it by 92, and then we're also going to do this. No, the next one. Sorry, get rid of that. In that one, we're going to do the sum, and we're going to take the hours and multiply it by £11.50. Okay, and all I'm going to do is just copy that straight down. Okay, so now we've got basically the cost for each of our cast. So for example, Philip is going to earn, for all his parties, he's going to earn 2,116 or 1,644. Now this first figure is the day rate. If we pay by day rate, then I won't be paying overtime. If we pay by hourly rate, then there'll be overtime included. If they have to do any more shots, so there'll be extra put aside for the overtime. Some of them, like local pedestrian, there's a big difference between the two. And there's another one, the heavy drivers of traffic. But we've also got a few problems because these ones, there's 15 of these. So this actually needs multiplying again by 15. And so does this, multiplied by 15. There's 2 black tie waiters, so this needs multiplying by 2 to get us the right figures. Multiplied by 2. There's 2 masked intruders, so they need multiplying by 2. Okay, multiplied by 2. There's 2 parents, so that needs multiplying by 2 as well. Okay, so that's it. Now we've got everyone sorted out. So these are the figures. So if we pay the daily rate, it's going to be £11,000. If we pay the average rate or the hourly rate, it's going to be £7,000. So there's a big difference between the two. Now, as I said, that is just the cast. We've still got the crew to work out. So that is the cast. Okay. Now the crew are going to be paid based on 8 hours, days. So they're just going to be paid the day rate, which will be £92 a day. £92 a day. So the crew, they're going to be paid on the day rate, which is £92 a day. So I'm not going to bother with hourly rate for them. And what we're going to do is we're going to end up listing all the crew that we're going to need. Okay. So, for example, if we start at the top, right, the pre-production stuff, you got the producer. Well, I'm not actually going to take any money out of this. It's going to be, I've got something else planned. So I'm going to start with the director. Okay. Now the director's going to have a first AD and a second AD. Okay, so he's got 2 assistants. So that's the director sorted. Then we're going to do I forgot what you call it, the cameraman, the DOP. Okay, and he's going to have 2 assistants. Second camera assistant. Sorry. Insert a row there rather than messing about. Insert a row. So we've got first camera assistant. So the DOP's got two, the director of photography's got two camera assistants. Then we're going to have the lighting. So we're going to have the rigger, and he's going to have two assistants. I don't know what they call them, I can't remember. I'll get it right by next time. Okay, so we've got our director, we've got our director of photography, our cameraman, we've got our rigger for the lighting, plus the lighting. So we're going to have a sound man, sound manager, and he's going to have a boom operator, and he's probably going to have an assistant as well. Right, so that's our sound. Okay, so we've got our director, our DOP, our riggers, our sound. Now we've got our makeup with a makeup assistant. Right, we've got our we're going to have our clothing, which is costume manager, and they'll have an assistant. Okay, so we've got the makeup assistant, the costume manager, the costume assistant. Now we're going to add a couple more up here because, as I said, I'm the producer. I'm not going to be taking anything out of it, but I'm going to have an assistant, and I'm probably going to have a line manager who'll take care of some of the more little details. Makeup assistant, costume assistant. We'll have a stunt coordinator, because there is one or two little stunts in there. Right, so that's basically the main. I'll probably think of others, but I'll let you know at a later time. Okay, so post production, we're going to have the editor, the Foley artist, we're going to have the colour grader, and I'm thinking of what else we're going to have. Probably the Foley artist is the sound mixer, so that's probably about it. Right, but we've also got more to add to this. Additional. Right, so we're going to put some spaces in there. Okay, because we're going to have a locations manager and locations assistant. Okay, we're also going to have security on site to protect all the equipment. What else are we going to have? I'm just trying to think. I don't know of much of others. Okay, so for now I'll leave it at that. I will add more when I remember them, and I will let you know at a later time. So these are all on the day rate. Okay, but what we've got 34 days. Okay, so everybody, there are going to be some changes, and I'm going to explain why in a minute, but these are all 34. Okay, they're all on 34 days, and then what I'm going to do here again is I'm just going to highlight all of this. Right, and I'm going to use this and copy it down. Right, so we've got all the rates for everybody. Now, certain people are going to be working extra. For example, the director is going to be working with me prior to the actual filming, because he's got a few things to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pay him double. So So I'm giving 68 days worth of work instead of 34. The rigger, the boom operator, they're all the same. They're going to be all the same. The stunt coordinator's going to be the same. Right, the editor, he's probably going to have a bit extra work as well. So I'm not going to give him double low. I'm just going to boost him up to 50 hours. The locations manager, he's going to be working extra. So we'll pump him up to 50 as well. Okay, everybody else, bar the security, is going to be just working as per when needed. Okay, so, oh, there is someone else we need. See, I told you I'd think of someone. We need a paramedic on set. I have a paramedic. Okay, so these are all based on the day rate. Let's work out how much that's going to come to. Sum of all of this. That's 87,000. Right, and that's just the basics. Right, the security. Now we're going to have one security on the set at all times, and one security on base at all times. So that's 2 security every 12 hours, and a spare in case we need it. So this is going to have to change anyway, because this daily rate is not right. Right, now I know that the general security costs are around about £170 a shift. So that's £340 a day. So the day rate, if we put the day rate at £340, right, that's for one guard for 34 days. Right, so that covers everywhere once with one guard. So we need actually 3 guards just to be on the safe side. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply this by 3, because that's for 3 guards. So it's 34,000 just for the security for the set. It's 118,000 so far in total, just for the production side. Okay, so that gives us that. We've got our go through that. Now what else I want to do is I want to say, right, certain people, for example the cameraman, if the cameraman provides or lends us his equipment, we'll give him an extra £1,000 for the use of his own equipment. Same with the rigger. If he brings his own lighting, we'll give him an extra £1,000, and the sound manager. Okay, so if any of them people bring their own equipment, we'll pay them for that privilege. Okay, this is just the basics. I can fiddle with these. I can reduce them. I can say, right, instead of 3,100, we'll pay you 3,000. Instead of 4,600, I'll pay you 4,500, and so on and so forth. The security we could take on our own, which would reduce that by £40 a day, and pay them 150 a day a shift. We're talking about 12-hour shifts. And as I say, we can always use the hourly rate and add, shall we say, maybe 30 hours, I'd say £15. Okay, so we could say, right, you've got them for exactly this time. 2 seconds. Right, so what we can say is, alright, what we can say is, this is the amount of hours these people work, and you've got 30 spare hours that you can use them. So out of all the cast and crew, if he needs an extra hour here or there, he's got 30 hours to play with. And that would cost us an extra 450 quid. So really I could double that and say 60. which would give us 900 quid. It's still less than the day rate, a lot less, and it still gives us plenty of leeway. And as I said, I can always round these down. In fact, I'll do that now, just to make it look, or get the right figures. Okay, so I'll just paste that there. 3,000, 3,000, 4,500. Oh. Right, 3,000. The security, if we knock that down to 150 to 320. So what I'll do is I'll copy that. That's the easiest way to do it. Just paste it in there. E32. And instead of putting that as 340, put it in there as 300. 30,000 rather than 34,000. 6 there. 3 there. 3 there. So we've got 3 all the way down here. Yes. 3 there. 3 and then 2. And 4, 5 there. Okay. So I've knocked that down by 7,000 just by reducing the figures and sorting them out in a certain way. So we've got all our wages for the cast and the crew. And as I said, there will be more cast going on there. It'll just take me time to work out what else I need, and I'll let you know when that happens. But basically this is what we're going to need. So we know we can go 111,000, 7,000 with 900 spare, 120,000 just in cast and crew. That'll leave us 80,000 for locations and anything else we need to do that. But we'll look into that later. For now, that's all I was going to go through, working out how much we have to pay. So we know how much each of the casts is going to get. So Joan will get paid the most. We'll get either 2,700 or 2,500, depending on which one we give her, or which way we pay. Some of them we may pay the day rate, some of them, well, no, we'll stick with one or the other. And that way, the director's also got extra hours that he can work with people. So he's got an extra 60 hours, and if it goes overtime, we'll pay them the £15 an hour for every hour they work over. But that gives them an extra £900 to spend on overtime if it's needed. So if we have to reshoot any scenes, for example. Okay, so we've sorted that out. So in the next video, we'll look at starting to set up our actual budget management. So the whole budget sheeting with all the cast and crew in one, and then we'll look into splitting the rest of the money between the different things that we need. For example, if we're going to need to get equipment to use, or whether we can borrow. I prefer to get people in that's got their own stuff, and then we can pay them an additional amount to use their own equipment, as long as it's good quality equipment, of course. So yeah, if any of you guys are in the film industry and do have your own equipment and live in England and are willing to travel to the northeast, by all means get in touch. I'll be looking for all of these people. See, the one thing I've missed off here, I also want a couple of runners who can drive. So runner. So they're all going to want paying as well. Okay, so they're all going to want paying. Now this is based, of course, on minimum wage. I don't really like the idea of paying less than that, but if I have to, I could. Certain ranks, for example, the runners, I could pay a bit less. The boy, 5-year-old boy, I mean, he's getting either 149 or 276. Legally, he doesn't need £11.50 an hour, but I'll probably stick with that anyway. It's only fair. Or maybe even just offer him. I don't know. I'll look into it. But this we could reduce, I suppose. and offer certain people, like the runners for example, a couple of grand. It's a month's work, offer them 2 grand each, offer the assistants 2 grand each. And we'll just have to see how it goes. When we get the budget put together, we'll have to see how much money we need to shave off things and then work it out from that. Okay guys, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget, if you like this video and my other videos, like, subscribe and ring that bell. Join me on Patreon and take part in some of the fun. And I look forward to seeing you again next time. Cheers.